Alright guys, how's it going? It's your boy Tony Two Guns, and I'm back here with another episode on my strict curl training. So this is number 2. I've learned a little bit more, got some more ideas, and I want to share them with you. So as you can see with this video right here, I had no weight. I just had the easy curl bar. This easy curl bar at the gym that I'm going to weighs 27 pounds. I use the old school scale where you have to add the 50 each time and then slide the little square along to make sure it's even. So it's 27 pounds. So some of the numbers are either above or below the percentages they're supposed to be if you are training by percentages. For example, if you have to do 70% for a lift, you do the math, you try to add the plates on as close as possible. So some of them a little bit above, some of them a little bit below. At the end of the day, it's all on how hard I trained, and ideally, my form or something gets better. The max PR itself gets better. My first goal is to get some type of form that I continuously do and feel really, really good with. But for the number would be my body weight, because that's when you start to be talked about in a sense of a certain type of lift. Can you even do your own body weight? Certain lifts count, certain lifts don't count. For example, if you can lift your own body weight doing a deadlift, that kind of makes sense, but you should be doing more if you're into those types of lifts. Don't know officially if this in competitions will be allowed to lift in this form, in a sense of which you'll see. Shrugging first. Not the regular one, because I've realized even I do it. As soon as you want to curl, this happens. But it's not a real shrug. You start to engage stuff. So things just move up. But Larry Wheels was explaining literally like shrug. Unless it was someone else in his video. Basically, you shrug and then lift up. You create less of a distance. Then I got some tips from, not Coop this time from Curl Avengers, from the other gentleman with the longer, I think, blondish, dirty blonde hair. Forget his name right now. Sorry about that. But basically, he had a video on how to correctly prepare for a lift for competition day. Wait, what do you mean? Just curl the weight. There are actually rules, just like in other power lifts. There's 3 lights. For this lift, it all depends on what federation, what meet you're going to, because it's either 2 or 3 points. What are the points? You got your butt, you got your back, and you have your head. Mostly everyone has 2 out of 3 points, but if you're training for it, hey, go for it. Put your head, make it as difficult as possible. That way, when you go to compete, nothing's going to stop you on doing your max lift for your weight itself. So, from Curling Avengers, I learned some new stuff on that one video. Basically, you are trying to get the weight from point A to point B. Where point B is up to you. Some people, it's on their chest, a little higher, to their chin, to their nose. It's a curl, and depending on how tall you are, I guess, and how long your torso is compared to how long your arm is on how high it goes. But as long as it comes all the way up like a full curl, it counts. So, just like all other lifts, yes, you need to be strong, but then the better your form, the better your speed, your velocity and everything, the better you will be able to do that lift itself with crazier weight. So things that I've learned on that, you need 12-inch distance from the wall to your feet. Apparently you can go a little closer, but the furthest you can go is where your heels are no more than 12 inches, which is a foot away. So that's why you see in my videos, I dance with my feet a little bit, but watching from some videos, I don't want to make the mistake of dancing too much, kind of like when people go to a squat. They take more than 2 steps away from the rack, and then they're dancing and they're wishing all this energy. Same thing with this lift so far. So basically, from what I've learned, you put your one foot. I switch it up trying to figure out which one is best, but I would say the one that you're stronger on to keep that foundation. So just in case you pull that weight the wrong way off of the rack, kind of like a preacher curl rack. That's why I have a bench, because I don't have a preacher curl rack to practice on. Last video, I had the floor, which is incorrect. If you're really competing, you would have that preacher curl rack holding the easy curl bar. Remember mine? at this gym weighs 27 pounds. I've seen where for the federations it's like 35 pounds. So just make sure no matter where you're going, you're doing the math correct. So that way you don't mess yourself up. Because I've done some lifts where I didn't even add the bar. And that's how I got my a new max. It happens sometimes. But make sure you're more aware of what's going on, especially if you're going to use a bar you've never used before. So for the techniques, now I'm doing a combination of things that I see. The shoulder shrug, I get that. It shortens the distance from how low the weight is on you. The higher you get it, the closer you get it to your body, the better. Bringing your wrist in when you're setting up to get that nice grip. Look at that. It's a couple inches, depending on how big of an arch or extension you would normally have compared to when you're reaching in like this. So that shortens distance. Shoulder shrugging creates less distance. Then I seen where someone was saying, lift your elbows up. So if you're doing this, couple inches, an inch or two, whatever, depending on how high your shrug is, and then you're also lifting your elbows to the side, that's helping you bring that weight up. But you got to remember, also when you train, you want to make things as hard as possible. So you do some regular barbell training, lift it. And with the barbell, everything's wider away from you, so it makes the actual lift even harder. All right, so as you can see, I'm using different weights, 65% and above. It also depends on how I am working out for that day and for that specific exercise. So after doing just the easy curl, kind of like the regular lift, the way it's supposed to be, minor tweaks probably in the future, I decided from reading some stuff and then feeling all confused and crazy at the gym some days, workout took a little longer than it should have. But then coming from easy curl, standing, I decided to do from seated position. So basically, a lot of people get stuck here. So when they're curling, the sticking point. And then they fight it, and then they can't get it all the way up. So the seated curl gets you into that position. I am on a seat that you can literally lean back on, but I'm trying to keep my distance away from it. And that way, if I do throw back, it's only so much, and I'm not going to hurt myself and mess up the form too much. Then also looking at the numbers that I push for this, I can tell that my PR needs to go up. All right, and after doing a couple sets of those seated curls from like the half, like 90, is it? Yeah, from 90 degrees up is a killer, man. You can tell. Then I was trying to see how high I can actually go, just in general. Not super cheek curl, just I wanted to see if I can get the 135 up. So I did a couple variations. I did it with the deadlift, and then I did it with just like less hip activation, added some hip activation just to get this motion of lifting a heavier weight, shock my nervous system, get this, these biceps used to 135. So that way, once I try 135 on easy curl, it should eventually get easier for a couple things. I'm training for it. I've already touched that weight. Yes, I use momentum, but now the weight is more compacted, a little bit at least, compared to, a 7-foot bar to a 5-foot bar. And I'm going to use the techniques. And if I do it correctly, 135 should eventually be this weight that I'm strict curling, and then my cheek curls should go up as well. So as you can tell, there are times that I talk a little too fast, a little too slow. I just get pumped up just talking in general. And then the fact that it's fitness, you already know that it's all guns up. I'm drinking my coffee, and random fact that I recently found out. Yes, they say straight black coffee is great as a pre-workout, but I just learned something. If you know about this, or if this is incorrect, please let me know. Coffee has the caffeine, yes, and it's supposed to be a natural, like pre-workout, but guess what? It restricts blood flow in your veins. So it makes them smaller, so there's less blood flow. So it's like, wait a second. It's like, give me all the energy I need, but then don't allow all the blood flow that I need for working out. So it's like a catch-22 to an extent. Not 100% sure. If you got information on that, let me know. If training strict curl, let me know what you're doing to get your numbers up there, or what type of style and form you're using, and how long you've been doing it. If you want some information on the way I'm doing it, more in detail, I can get more in depth on my actual video. Or if you have some information you can send to me, that'll be greatly appreciated. And you never know, maybe one day we'll be competing right next to one another. Guys, any questions? Comment section below. If you need any help on your fitness journey, just like you can give me information, I'm there to help you guys out. Tony Two Guns is out, so next time. Peace!
Will they remember me and my legacy, or say he's dead to me? Wasn't a friend to me, he was the enemy. They trying to get to me and get rid of me.